The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL was the first iteration of the SL-class Grand Tourer convertibles and fastest production car of its day. Internally numbered W198, it was introduced in 1954 as a two-seat sports car with distinctive gull-wing doors and later offered as an open roadster. Built by Daimler-Benz AG, the fuel-injected production model was based on the company's highly successful yet somewhat less powerful carbureted 1952 race car, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. The idea of a toned-down W194 tailored to affluent performance enthusiasts in the booming post-war American market was suggested by Max Hoffman. As such, it was introduced at the 1954 New York Auto Show rather than the Frankfurt or Geneva shows at which other Mercedes models made their debuts. The 300 in its name referred to its 3-liter engine displacement, and SL stood for sport-leached. The 300 SL was best known for its distinctive gull-wing doors, first ever consumer fuel injection, and world's fastest top speed. The gull-wing version was available from March 1955 to 1957, the roadster from 1957 to 1963. A light version of the 300 SL was introduced in 1955 as the 190 SL. While very different technically from the 300 SL, it is often referred as the 300 SL's little sister as the two models share many elements. Both the 300 SL and the 190 SL were followed in the Mercedes line by the 230 SL. A race car for the street, New York Mercedes distributor Max Hoffman, Daimler-Benz's official importer in the USA, suggested to Daimler-Benz AG management in Stuttgart that a street version of the 300 SL would be a commercial success, especially in America. The racing W194 300 SL was built around a tubular chassis to offset its relatively underpowered carbureted engine. Designed by Daimler-Benz's chief developing engineer, Rudolf Uhlenhort, the metal skeleton saved weight while still providing a high level of strength. Its unique architecture gave birth to the model's distinctive gull-wing doors, as part of the chassis passed through what would be the lower half of a standard door. Even with the upward opening doors, the 300 SL had an unusually high sill, making entry and exit from the car's cockpit problematic. A steering wheel with a tilt-away column was added to improve driver access. The 300 SL's body was mainly steel, except for the aluminum hood, doors and trunk lid. It could also be ordered with an all-aluminium outer skin at tremendous added cost, saving 80 a kg. More than 80% of the vehicle's total production of approximately 1,400 units were sold in the U.S., making the gull-wing the first Mercedes-Benz which sold in considerable numbers outside its home market and confirming the validity of Hoffman's suggestion. The 300 SL is credited for changing the company's image in America from a manufacturer of solid, but staid, automobiles to that of a producer of sporty cars. First direct injection. The 300 SL's engine, canted at a 45-degree angle to the left to allow for a lower hoodline, was the same 3.0-liter straight-six as the regular four-door 300 Tourer. Fitted with a Bosch mechanical gasoline direct injection system, it had almost double the power of the original 86 kilowatt carbureted version. While not the first fuel-injected car, Mercedes engineers who had developed the principle for the DB601 fighter aircraft engine had used fuel injection in the tiny two-stroke gut rod they had designed after the war. It was the first to inject fuel directly into the cylinders. This innovation allowed a top speed of up to 260 km/h depending on gear ratio and drag, making the 300 SL the fastest production car of its time. The engine's maintenance requirements were high. Unlike the current electrically powered fuel injection systems, the mechanical fuel pump would continue to inject gasoline into the engine during the interval between shutting off the ignition and the engine's coming to a stop. This gasoline was of course not burned, and washed the oil from the cylinder walls and ended up diluting the engine's lubricating oil, particularly if the engine was not driven hard enough nor long enough to reach a temperature high enough to evaporate it out of the oil. Exacerbating the problem were the large oil cooler as well as the large volume of oil, both oriented more to racing than to street driving, which virtually guaranteed that the oil would not reach a high enough temperature. In practice, many street drivers would block off airflow through the oil cooler, and the recommended oil change interval was 1,000 miles. Operation of the clutch was initially very heavy, later roadsters having an improved clutch arm helper spring which reduced the pedal force. From March 1963 to the end of production, a light alloy crankcase was used on a total of 209 vehicles. Aerodynamics played an important role in the car's speed, Mercedes-Benz engineers even placing horizontal eyebrows over the wheel openings to reduce drag. Unlike many cars of the 1950s, the steering was relatively precise and the four-wheel independent suspension allowed for a reasonably comfortable ride and markedly better overall handling. However, the rear swing axle, jointed only at the differential, not at the wheels themselves, could be treacherous at high speeds or on imperfect roads due to extreme changes in camber. The enormous fuel tank capacity caused a considerable difference in handling depending on the quantity of fuel on board. Racing history: in 1952, the original 300 SL scored overall wins at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, in Bern-Bremgarten, in the Sportscar race of the IFA Rennen at the NA1 Quarter-Rebürgring, and in Mexico's Carrera Panamericana. It also managed second and fourth places at its first outing, the Mille Miglia in 1952. These successes, especially those on the high-speed open-road races, were rather surprising as the engine then was fitted only with carburetors, producing 175 HP, which was not only less than the competing cars by Ferrari and Jaguar, but also less than the road car of 1954. Low weight and low aerodynamic drag made the 300 SL fast enough to be competitive in endurance races. The 300 SL today. Today, the 300 SL with its unique doors, technological firsts, and low production numbers is considered one of the most collectible Mercedes-Benz models, with prices generally in the $700,000 to $1 million range. Sports Car International magazine ranked the 300 SL as the number 5 sports car of all time. A pair of 300 SLs for sale in 2009 were offered at over $1.3 million from the Foxwood collection. In 2012, an ultra-rare 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL with an all-aluminum body was sold for $4.62 million at the Scottsdale auctions in Arizona. Given the stratospheric prices that a 300 SL commands, many car enthusiasts have turned towards the smaller 190 SL, often referred as the poor man's 300 SL as its acquisition costs are a tenth that of the 300 SLs. Subsequent generations of the Mercedes-Benz SL class have been continually produced. The A230 and the A231 have air inlets in the front fenders which are inspired by the 300 SL gull-wing. However, the SL has since evolved to become a more autobahn-focused Grand Tourer due to increasing weight, especially with its optional V12 engine in later iterations. The last two generations of the SL are hardtop convertibles with technological and comfort amenities, and it also has available heated and cooled seats with a massage function. The Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG is described by Mercedes as a spiritual successor to the 300 SL gull-wing. Although there is some overlapping in price and performance with the A230 and A231 SL class, the lighter SLS AMG is considered more of a sporty track-oriented car, in the spirit of the 300 SL. Mercedes-Benz also operates the Mercedes-Benz Classics Center that focuses on classic Mercedes-Benz restorations and is recognized as the central authority on 300 SL parts, service, restoration and vehicle trading as they have unique access to original build sheets and factory documentation which enables them to confirm a car's authenticity, a critical factor determining a collector car's true value. As part of a partnership between Mercedes-Benz and Nintendo, the Wii U game Mario Kart 8 features a 300 SL Roadster as a playable in-game vehicle, added as part of a post-launch downloadable game update on August 27, 2014. Technical data. See also, Mercedes-Benz SL Class, Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, References. Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Coupe/Gull-Wing Register www.mercedes300sregister.com, Sports and Classic Cars, Bonanza Books, New York, 1955, Borges and G. and Jadaquist E. Gull-wing. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Cooper. Copyright, Pallon Press, London. 2008, Pritchard, A. External links, Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Internet Portal and Web Magazine, Mercedes-Benz. The 1952 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Racing Sport Coupe, Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Cooper. Copyright/Gullwing. Register 198.040 and 198.043.